It's Tuesday, November 12, and it's 43 days until Christmas. Here's what's making the news today. President Granger calls for more involvement by Scouts in the protection of national patrimony. Minister Jordan says salary increases to meet all-time high at year-end, and Cuba to import more rice from Guyana in January 2020. Welcome to InfoHub. We have lots to tell you. The coalition government has an unmatched record of salary increases for public servants, with even more assurances of further increases this year, as Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, will announce this week.
Minister of Finance Honorable Winston Jordan said that the increases to public servants' salaries this year will take the overall increase to an all-time high of 75%, a record unheard of under any previous administration.
Look at the space of time. We started increasing wages from the 4th of July 2015. And the last increase was retroactive to January 1, 2018. So in 2.5 years, we would have increased salaries by over 64%. Over 64%. And by the time we are finished with salaries for this year, I can guarantee you that between the 4th of July 2015 and the 1st of January 2019, it will be over 75% increase.
Late last week, Minister Jordan announced that public servants will receive increases to their salaries that will be retroactive to January 1 of this year. He is expected to provide details of the salary hike this week. The minister pointed out that it is the coalition government that also increased personal allowance.
If you were working for 60,000, then 50,000 would have been your, I used to call it free pay. I don't know what to call it, the personal allowance. And you had to pay a tax on 10,000. And the tax at that time, I believe, was 30% or 3%, something like that. If you were working for 100,000, then still 50,000 would have been your free pay, and you had to pay a tax on 50,000. And if you were working happily for $500,000, only 50,000 you were being allowed. And you will have to pay a tax on 450,000. We changed all of that.
Under the coalition government, the marginal tax rate was reduced from 33.3% to 28%. The administration also paid off loans left by the previous administration, bailed out Guy Suko, and much more in its 4 years in office. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
It was another busy weekend for His Excellency President David Granger as he headlined several events, chief among them the Remembrance Day celebration hosted at the Cenotaph. Paul McAdam covered several of the events and has more to tell us.
President Granger has issued a call for the scouting fraternity to play an active role in the protection of Guyana's national patrimony. He was speaking before hundreds of scouts at the opening of the 2019 National Camp to mark the movement's 110th anniversary. The event was hosted at the headquarters of the Guyana Scouts Association. The head of state urged that scout troops be established in each town and that annual camps be held countrywide.
They will go to the grasslands. They will go to the lakelands. They'll go to the highlands in the hinterland. So Thomas Lands is nice so far, but we have to go further afield so that you get the opportunity to see the rest of the country.
During his attendance at the Victoria Village's 180th anniversary on Saturday, November 9, the head of state said that the examples set by our foreparents are still relevant today. Victoria was the first village to be purchased by freed slaves in 1839.
Tonight, I ask you all to recapture the spirit of 1839. You've seen it on display. Change came 180 years ago. And change is continuous. We will continue to change this country once we have people with the energy and the foresight of our forefathers and the present generation of Victorians. I urge that these changes be continued beyond the next decade of development. Tonight, we're all Victorians. Tonight, all of us share in this glorious heritage.
The Commander-in-Chief was also at the Remembrance Day observances on Sunday to pay tribute to the fallen heroes of World Wars I and II. He reminded of the great sacrifices of those who served during that era.
Their example strengthens our resolve to maintain our efforts for world peace with justice and prosperity for all peoples. Let us remember also those Guyanese who, since independence, have died in the service of our nation. Let us thank those who continue to defend our territory and our patrimony. We, the citizens of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, on this solemn occasion, rededicate ourselves to the search of peace and well-being of our beloved country.
Guyana and Cuba relations will grow stronger as the Spanish-speaking countries are expected to purchase additional tons of rice by January 2020.
Minister of Business, the Honorable Hemraj Rajkumar, led a delegation to Cuba for the Havana International Fair, FIHAV, which was hosted from November 4th to 8th. During an interview with the business minister, it was disclosed that rice imports to the Spanish-speaking countries are expected to increase as early as January 2020. He relayed that the President of Cuba, His Excellency Miguel Diaz-Canel, gave his assurance during recent talks.
His Excellency has indicated his interest in continue to purchase rice from us. In fact, he's very serious because he indicated to me that his 2020 allocation and 2020 budget, he has set aside a part of the budget to purchase rice exclusively from Guyana, and he is very much interested too in our ecotourism, where we could have a multi-destination. We have to think about multi-destination visitors from Cuba going to Guyana and from Guyana to Cuba. I think it's a fantastic idea, and we believe that the relationship with Cuba and Guyana will grow stronger.
More specifically, Minister Rajkumar noted that during a meeting with the company Al Imports, it was indicated that they will increase their purchase of rice.
The president of Al Import indicated to me that in addition to the amount of rice that they would have purchased, they also would increase that to 29,000 tons by January. So I'm happy that we are getting getting into the Cuban market. I'm sure that our farmers in Guyana and our rice farmers in Guyana would benefit from this venture.
The business minister also disclosed that bilateral meetings were held with South Africa and Kenya, among other countries. FIHAV is the largest international fair for trade and investment in Cuba, represented by delegations from across Latin America and the Caribbean. The event provides an excellent business platform for new companies in the market and those already established. The 5-day fair was held at the Expo Cuba exhibition site, Havana, Cuba. For InfoHub, Gabriela Patram.
Still to come, artisanal and small-scale gold mining sector to soon benefit from National Action Plan and dozens of youths benefiting from CSEC school-based assessment camp. More after the break. Daddy! Welcome back. A national action plan is being developed for the artisanal and small-scale gold mining sector. The project team visited mining operations in Peruni Region 7 over the weekend to interact with miners to better understand their specific operations and uses of mercury.
The team is tasked with making recommendations for the establishment of a National Action Plan, or NAP, as it is being referred to as, for the artisanal and small-scale gold mining sector. The development of the plan is part of government's responsibility as a signatory to the Minamata Convention on Mercury. At Peruni, the team went to work on visiting mining camps, viewing and recording those specific operations, mining equipment, gold recovery, data collection, mercury use, practices, and fuel consumption. Leading the team was Kemroy Parasram, the National Artisanal and Small-Scale Mining Inventory expert.
So what we're doing here today is basically start of the process of the national consultants doing its what you call a national overview of the mining in Guyana, small-scale mining in Guyana. And that national overview includes a baseline on mercury use, as well as the practices used in mercury, practices used in small-scale mining in terms of mercury use and so on.
Parsham explained that reducing the use of mercury will not be done in a haphazard manner.
We recognize Guyana's situation that small-scale mining, we are heavily dependent on it. A lot of people are for their livelihoods and for the country's economy. So what we need to do is, in our approach, is see how we can reduce the use so that we can also look at dealing with the issue of the impacts of mercury.
The project is being financed by the Basel Convention Regional Center for Training and Technology Transfer for the Caribbean. Reporting for InfoHub, Nikosi Bruce.
And in our final report, 16-year-old Melissa Cummings now has a new electronic tablet to complete her school-based assessments. Cummings is just one of the dozens of students benefiting from a Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate Camp, which was made possible through the efforts of the Minister of Youth Affairs, the Honorable Simona Brooms.
According to Melissa Cummings, the electronic device will aid significantly in the timely completion of her SBAs, as well as help with research and information and communications technology ICT-enabled studying. She expressed that the device is a godsend. Cummings is one of the dozens of students attending a CSEC camp, which is being hosted by the minister at her residence. It was disclosed that most of the students hail from marginalized communities, including Plaisance, Lodge, and East Randolph.
Coming here, I have experienced that there is hope, joy, fun, and you could learn through experience. It's been great working with him.
Another promising student, 17-year-old Kurt Edwards, has emerged from a trying background to rise above his struggles. Edwards was in and out of school because of financial constraints and was forced to work to support his family.
It was kind of hard because I had some little finance problems with my old lady, and school used to make her want to stop come to school because I used to have to go and work. And the afternoon that the meeting and miss come, and she asked me, and I told her my situation, and she said she would assist me. And since from that day, Mrs. gave me some major assistance and motivated me more to stay in school and finish my CXC to better my life.
Minister Brooms expressed her heartfelt commitment to ensuring that young people have access to the resources they desperately need to succeed.
This is all about supporting our young people in getting them, not only identifying the hurdles, but how do we support them in getting over the first hurdle. And I think once we start to give them that type of support, they get more stamina, they're more motivated, and I definitely know it will bring a different outcome and we have a better impact into society.
This is the second camp of its kind. The program enlists support from educators and private citizens who all share a vision for Guyanese youth. It was birthed to assist children who experience unforeseen difficulties in completing their SBAs. Educator Oren Morgan will be providing scholarships for additional classes to several students in the program.
I think we as educators cannot sit by idly and watch them knowing that they need the help, and we can give them this help.
Letitia Isaacs for InfoHub.
Remember to tune in to The Voice of Guyana on Wednesday, November 13 at 11 hours when Minister within the Ministry of Communities with responsibility for housing, the Honorable Annette Ferguson, will be discussing recent updates in the housing sector on Insight. Also, continue to check our website, www.dpi.gov.gy, and Facebook and Instagram pages for a special report on the recently hosted regional meetings. That's all for today. Connect with us on WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. Much more news is on our website, dpi.gov.gy, and pop over to Instagram for the latest photo updates. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye for now.